Hey now, I'm here in sunny Portugal and it feels like a great day to fire up a grill. So today I'm going to prepare a grilled chicken or a frango grelhado, and this is one of my favorite Portuguese style meals. It's really simple. I get to spatchcock a chicken, marinate it, and cook it over some charcoal. So what can be wrong with that? So let's get started. All right, so I'm going to start off here with this chicken that I picked up from the butcher. Slide it on out. Whoop, there we go. Toss that bag in there. Whoa, I got a little bag of goodies here. Looks like we got some feet and some organs and stuff like that. I'm just going to set this into this bag here and decide what I want to do with those later. I'm going to pop off the sticker because this isn't a piece of fruit. And it is time to spatchcock that. So I'm actually doing this on a cutting board on the stovetop here just because we've got limited space here in the condo. Now, I'm going to use these poultry shears here, which work really well, just to cut the spine right out of this bird. Delightful sound. Just crunching through those bones like nobody's business. There we are. And then using this knife to kind of cut the rest of that out. I'll just toss this into this bag here as well. Now, in order to sort of complete the whole spatchcock process here, I'm just going to flip this over and press down a little bit. Break that breastbone a touch. So now it will lay nice and flat, just like this. So now I just have to go ahead and prepare the marinade. So for the marinade, I'm just going to start off here with some of this massa de pimental, which is just a red pepper paste, which is beautiful, rich. It's thick, as you can see. This makes a great marinade. One of the things with it is reasonably salty. So I am going to cut it with some red wine, because why not? Put some of that in here. And then I've got, this was like 5 cloves of garlic that I just kind of chopped up there a little bit. So let's see, we've got red wine, we've got massa de pimental. Oh right, paprika, some smoked paprika, classic Portuguese ingredient. Get some of that in there too, because you can't have too much of that. I'm just going to stir it up and see what my texture's like. Ooh, I'm also going to grab a little olive oil for that. All right, there we go. Nice little dose. Some olive oil. It's all nicely combined. You know what? I might want just a little bit more of this, because even if I don't use all of it right on the chicken immediately, screw it. You know what? It's all going in. We're using it all. Let's not mess around. In fact, I'm going to pour some of this wine into the jar and suck every last bit of that goodness out of there. There we go. No messing around. Let's throw a little bit more paprika. And because I can save some of this, I can baste the chicken with it as it's cooking, and even dump some over the potatoes that we're going to have with this. So, there we are, and I just gotta find a spoon here, and do a little taste test. Okay, definitely on the salty side. Can add a little bit more of that wine, just to cut that down. I certainly won't need to add any salt to this. I did have some kosher salt or some kosher sea salt on standby. However, you shall not need that. This other spoon here. Delightful. Now, if this was just for me, I would also add some piri-piri seasoning to it, or even piri-piri sauce. However, since this is also going to be for the littles, I'll just be adding some to mine at serving. So, let's get this on the chicken. So I'm going to marinate it just in this little container here. I'm going to start off by throwing in a little bit of sauce here on the bottom. This is going to become a horribly messy operation right away. Now, before I go any further, I want to get some of this sauce right into the meat directly and not just on the skin, so I'm just getting my finger in here and running it underneath the skin to create a nice little pocket. Going to do the same thing for the legs. This would help if I had longer fingers. However, if they were much wider, I could risk tearing through the skin, which isn't fun. Wrecking that. Okay, just like so. So now, go ahead, pour sauce right in there. And what I kind of missed there. Right in there. Ooh, yeah. And into here. Gotta be careful, I don't want to wreck the breast meat, or the skin, sorry, covering the breast meat. Yes, there's a little hole here. Came like that from the factory. All underneath there. Okay. Perfect. So we've got lots of this sauce here. And there's actually tons of leftover sauce kicking around in this, which will probably be more than enough for any of that basting that I want to do. So I'll be able to save the rest of this marinade and perhaps toss it onto some potatoes or whatnot. Okay, now I'm just going to put this into the fridge and let it go until it's time to cook. So I'm going to be grilling up this chicken in this cool little built-in outdoor oven that's on the balcony here. I'm going to be doing this over charcoal, and starting off the charcoal using this little round stove and using that sort of as a charcoal chimney just to get this all going. And once it's all nicely lit, I'm going to dump it down here and get the rest of the grill set up. Okay, this charcoal looks like it's all ready to go, so I'm going to try to carefully pour it all out. It's over here. Nice. Just going to move this around a little bit here. It's going to be fun. Some of these lumps are a little bit larger than I think might be accommodated easily. My little grill set up. But let's find out. So, I've got this grill right here, and it's going to go directly over top of those coals. And now, because we're attempting to get something similar to amazing Faraday market meat, which the chicken cooks over top of potatoes and everything drips down beautifully into those, we're going to cook the chicken here and hopefully catch some of the drippings. Now I actually need a second assistant here to help me with getting the chicken on. Alright, so this is going to be fun trying to get this chicken on here without some of my sweet massive spatulas like I've got at home. Oh, there we go. It worked. I'm going to try to tuck this right over top there. I want as much of it right over top of this as possible. Okay, beautiful. So I'm now going to just let this sit, start to heat up over these coals. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to throw a little bit of beer in here. Create a little bit of steam here. Kind of a pseudo beer can chicken idea. So now I've got some nice drippings in this pan here. So I removed that lower rack and I've just got this thing right above the coals here, and we're going to start to cook this thing a little bit quicker. And now the last trick I have up my sleeve is I attached the second half of this little grill unit. So now I'm able to go ahead and flip. Ooh, pop that off. Flip the bird at will and rotate it, similarly to the rotisseries that they use at the fairs. So having it compacted between these two grates here makes it easy to sit here and, again, sort of slow motion replicate that rotisserie process, even being able to balance it up here on the sides. So I'm just giving this a clockwise motion here every couple of minutes. And now as one of the last steps, we took some potatoes that we had mostly cooked or partially cooked in the oven, toss them with the drippings and the sauce, and have them back in that pan underneath the chicken to finish cooking. All right, so those potatoes are done. Just gonna go ahead and pop this off of here. I'll rip those potatoes off. Ooh, yeah! And I'm just gonna go ahead and set this chicken back on here just for probably 20 seconds or 30 seconds per side, and then take this off. Okay, it is time. Dinner time! Time to pop these out of here. Of course, these wings are being a pain. There we go. Now, just going to try to sneak this. Here, can you use your one hand to hold this up? There we go. Got lots of helpers here all of a sudden now that this is done. Sweet. And on to here. Woo! All right. Let it rest for a sec. So I am about to chop this up. We're going to be serving this with these chicken dripping, sauced up roasted potatoes, and then just a traditional Portuguese salad. We've got tomatoes, onion, cucumber, and just olive oil and vinegar. Salt and pepper. Yeah. All right, so most important step here is a whole bunch of this piri piri sauce. Drizzled over everything. Well, maybe not over the salad. A bunch of that. I'm just going to cut in here. Try and tear off a piece of this thigh. Being a dark meat guy. And now. That sauce. Incredibly delicious. Sitting there and having marinated it for several hours in that sauce with the pimentão and all that, and then basting it constantly throughout that process, the smoke out of the charcoal, the perfect amount of salt. Really glad I cut it the way I did with that red wine. Absolutely stunning. And look at these potatoes. Yes, with the chicken drippings. A lot of the same flavors from a bit of that sauce that I tossed into there. And then we'll just freshen it up with a little bit of cucumber. And wash it down with a classic Portuguese beer here, a little Superbock. It's a complete meal. It's going to need a little bread to soak everything up when I'm done. Well, I think this was taking dinner to 11.